Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
When people are fed, futures are nourished. They can connect with the world around them, unlock endless possibilities, and thrive. Join the movement to end hunger. Volunteer. Advocate. Donate. Go to feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Wasn't today just absolutely perfect when it came to our forecast? Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor, and that's one of the things that we're tracking is just how long this good weather sticks around for. Hopefully forever, right? I mean, you can't get too much better than what we saw today. Well, what we'll be tracking here in the Room to Room Weather Center is going to be putting the sun in Sunday. I mean, we are getting plenty of clear skies for our Sunday ahead, so that drier air, once again, a big part of our forecast. But isolated chances of rain do move into the forecast heading into the work week and the school week. Yes, students are back in session. So just what to expect with those rain chances. Do we need the umbrella with our children as they head to school? Well, we'll track that for you coming up here shortly. And also the latest on the tropics getting a little bit more active. And recent addition that I wasn't able to fit in the show just yet, but we're going to talk about this coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 10, is an earthquake happening just outside of New York City. So very close to impacting a lot of people. We'll walk through what exactly happened and the impacts that folks saw. Let's first walk through what we saw here in North Mississippi, and this was an exceptional day. Greenwood, usually our highest temperatures across the area, 75 degrees this evening, so it is a much more comfortable forecast. Dew points right around 70, so that measure of moisture not as high, and that drier air is once again prevailing, allowing these temperatures to cool off just a bit more. We're talking about the upper 60s for some parts early tomorrow morning. And even as we take a look there towards Caledonia, dew points coming in with 69 degrees. So those actual temperatures can't cool below the dew point. So as long as the dew point stays in those upper 60s, we can definitely see that number cool off into the upper 60s as well. Here I am. I haven't even talked about what we're seeing outside. Clear conditions. So it's going to be a calm forecast no matter where you're at. Caledonia, Greenwood, if we want to go all the way to Corinth, Boonville, or South Haven, it's a great forecast all across North Mississippi and Northwest Alabama. Speaking of, let's walk through Amory. 64 is what it feels like outside right now. 72 degrees actual temperatures. That dew point needs to lower just a bit so that way those temperatures can cool off just a bit more. But that's one thing we're tracking overnight, but it's all going to get so much cooler. I mean, it is a fantastic forecast. You just cannot get better than what we saw today. I hope this doesn't turn off. Okay, I think we woke it back up. Golly, 10 o'clock, I guess it's too late for the monitor. But our Mississippi Live Weather radar, never too late to look at this. And what we're seeing is clear air mode on our radar, which basically the beam lowers just a bit. We know how it shoots up at that angle, so we lower that just a bit, and that's where we get some of those trees that show up or large structures. Those are what we're getting with some of those returns. So not rainfall, don't worry, we're not covered in rain here in North Mississippi. One thing that I do want to note, and I think it's going to talk more about it here in Maine weather, but I want to talk about it now with some of our national, let me pull it up, national precipitation. There we go. National radar. Let's walk through what we've seen over the past couple of hours here in Alabama. This has been a very impactful event because look at where all the rain chances pop up. It's similar places right there towards Brent getting a large downpour. Gadsden, that's close to where my folks are over there in St. Clair County and just outside. Yeah, it's right there in St. Clair County. Where is that? I'm just very curious. Sorry, I'm about to take a little detour for a second. Jumping in. So that's Asheville. Yeah, so my parents are not too far from there. So, well, I hope they're watching and I hope that they are okay. But I've not gotten any reports from folks back home. So I think that's a good sign that that flash flood warning is more of a precaution rather than a reality. But those rain chances, I mean, we have followed right along the line of security, staying in the clearer air and the drier air. There's where those rain chances have happened, and a few that happened in Pickens County. But other than that, I mean, it has been a calm forecast here in North Mississippi. Our satellite radar showing the same images of where that moisture is, that's where the clouds are. And so here in North Mississippi, it's not just dry, it's clear. So as we head overnight, yes, we could see some partly cloudy skies, but we're staying mostly clear overnight with 69 degrees come tomorrow morning. That is a perfect temperature. 73 by 8. And as we're heading out to the lunch plans, 83 with plenty of sunshine. Take those lunch plans outside. Let's get the lunch to go, support local, and then head out to the park to enjoy some of those great conditions. As we look at our Mississippi Live Weather radar on an expanded outlook, what we're seeing is this low. And this low has been a large driver in the moisture that we've been seeing out there towards Alabama. Reason why is because it has that counterclockwise motion. So I'm just going to draw this out here real quick. And this wind right here, this one pay attention to, because that has been the extent of what we've gotten here in North Mississippi. A lot of that northern wind bringing in some of that continental air. It's much cooler. Oh, I don't know who drew that. I didn't. Cooler air, as well as, why is it doing that? I can't draw over Jonesboro. Doesn't want me to. But it's also that drier air. So that's what's circulating into North Mississippi. But where that Gulf moisture is moving into Birmingham and Huntsville, this area right here on the eastern side of Alabama, I don't know what is happening with that line. That is going to be bugging me if that keeps happening. But that's where the extent of the moisture is being seen, and that's why those flash flood warnings are a result of that, because once you circulate in that moisture, that's where those chances really start to pick up. So we've been fortunate to not get as much rainfall as they've seen over there towards Alabama, but we still need a little bit of rainfall. We talked earlier at 6 just how much July put us back in regards to our accumulated rainfall. So Futurecast showcases that low, and that low is going to be a key driver to our forecast going forward. You notice how it doesn't really move with the front. It kind of stays right along those state lines. So 6 a.m. still wrapping around a bit of that moisture in Birmingham, Coleman, Huntsville, getting that moisture still over those same areas. So those flash flood concerns once again in the forecast for our Sunday morning. By lunchtime, that low starts to shift just a bit, and we could be getting a little bit of that wraparound moisture for folks right here in northwest Alabama. I mean, we could see it basically along that line right there. So for any counties listed in that yellow circle, that has about a 10 to 20% chance of coverage for some isolated showers. That's going to be primarily towards your Sunday afternoon. So up until that point, we're staying dry, we're staying cool, and we're staying clear. So that's going to be a great start to the day, perfect for church, lining up well, but unfortunately, for some folks, not lining up all day long. It's that Alabama state line that's really the primary threshold for moisture. So whenever you see that 10% coverage, 20% coverage popping up at the latter part of our Sunday, that's just a result of that wraparound moisture, something that low, the positioning of the low will be very key to that forecast going forward. So we might luck out with it transitioning more east, but if it shifts just a bit more west, that's where we could see those chances pick up. Other than that, sunny skies for the extent of the day, so still take advantage of that forecast. Get outside tomorrow afternoon and enjoy those drier, cooler conditions. And we'll be tracking just how long those conditions stick around for coming up here on Mississippi Live Weather in the next 60. We're also going to be walking through the latest outlook on the tropics, the latest on the New York City earthquake. Plenty to talk about coming up here in the next 60, not just here in Mississippi, but also on the national level. So keep it here for the very latest, and we'll walk through that coming up here in the next minute.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laupon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laupon has proven himself trustworthy.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. What we're going to start with has been the greatest blessing, and that's those temperatures. I mean, looking across the region, high temperatures today only got into the mid to upper 80s in some parts. Don't pay attention to Marshall County. That was an anomaly. That did not actually happen. We did get into the 80s there towards Marshall County, but our highest temperature, 90 in Greenwood, and that is not a bad day whatsoever. Normally, we should be around 93, 94. So the fact that we're not even close to that should show you what a blessing it is that this air is moving in right now. Speaking of right now, temperatures coming in with the low 70s towards Boonville, Corinth, Iuka, even down around Amory. Further south, 78 Macon, 75 Starkville, Eupora, 79 still around Belzona. So it's still going to be the cooler temperatures bringing it in, but some folks cooler than others. And for some folks, we are talking upper 60s tomorrow morning. Yes, you heard me correctly. That's going to be a fantastic outlook. I'm so excited. Well, looking on our Mississippi Live Weather radar, we talk about how it's transitioned more into clear air mode. Reason why is because it was tracking a few of those showers out around Tuscaloosa and Brent, but that has since shifted off towards the east and dissolved on out. So that's why we're now in clear air mode. That's really been the extent of the moisture, has been everything happening south of I-20, further from where we are here in North Mississippi. So again, we've been on the drier side here for the entirety of our viewing area. Satellite imagery kind of showing you that exact same outlook. Those clear skies stretched all across North Mississippi. So not only is it dry, it is sunny as can be. Sun in Sunday. That is going to be the name of our forecast tomorrow, because these conditions do continue into our Sunday as well. I wanted to expand things out and show you what has happened out there towards Alabama. You see multiple of those flash flood warnings. That one right by my parents. Again, I'll make sure. They're on vacation. They're not even there. We're all good. But out there towards eastern Alabama, southeast of Tuscaloosa and southeast of Montgomery, several of these flash flood warnings pop up. And the reason why is because they've gotten so much rainfall. Some of those rainfall totals, you look at the heart of those warnings. We're talking 4 to 5 inches. Whenever you look at that scale at the top of your screen, those reds popping up, that's 4 or 5, even up to 6 inches in some parts, especially Rome, Georgia. I mean, it's gotten an absolute downpour. Southeast of Montgomery, we're talking about the same amount of rainfall. To give you perspective of how much rainfall that is, we had that much rainfall moving through our forecast Thursday and Friday down around Webster County. So folks, here we've experienced it, but now that has since transitioned a little bit more south and east of us into Alabama, and that line of moisture, I mean, that we're seeing with some of those rainfall totals just stretching from the southern end of Atala, Winston, Noxubee, even just barely into Pickens County. I mean, this has been perfect for our viewing area. It's almost like, God knew what we covered and he kept us dry. So it's been a good forecast for us, and we'll definitely take those drier conditions for our first weekend of the school year. I hope you folks got out there. Students didn't sleep in too much, and we did get to enjoy this forecast just a bit. But looking on our forecast for our Sunday, waking up for church, it's going to be an ideal forecast. Pastors, as you get your early start to the day, upper 60s, the Lord's blessing you, and then 85 by noon, 89 by 3, and then 83 around 7. You see plenty of sunshine throughout the day. So with those sunny skies, we're not going to be warming up too extremely much because of the winds. And the winds are going to be key to our forecast. You see, coming out of the north, well, it's not good fishing wind. It's definitely good for good feeling wind. What is the saying when it's the winds from the north don't go forth? I learned that from Pops. So if you're watching right now, appreciate that. But there you go. So the wind's blowing in from the north. It's going to be that cooler, drier air all day long. But that line is what we're watching for where that moisture could pop up. I want you to pay attention. We have these arrows that are popping up showing off those winds. So still blowing in from that north to south extent. Let's carry through the forecast. And I want you to pay attention, really pay attention right here along the Alabama state line. So Sunday morning, we're waking up 69 degrees. It's going to be a great start temperature-wise, and we see that right here. Some areas, and we are talking about cool conditions. 64 might be a stretch to reach all the way to 64, but we could see 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, somewhere in that range. So stretched all across North Mississippi from the southeast extent all the way to the northwest. Further south and east you are, of course, with that moisture, we're not going to be cooling off as much. But low 70s, I know no one is complaining about that at all. But let's watch as the day goes on just how those winds get changed. And again, pay attention to the Alabama state line. So 9 a.m. you do see that cloud cover shifting in, and you might notice that there's not too many northerly winds coming in from that system. That's a result of that wraparound of moisture from that low that we'll be getting here in northern Alabama. So northwest counties in Alabama, they're going to be impacted as well. And you see those winds start to shift a little bit more west. And that's where that drier air will be moving into the Mississippi Delta. So drier and cooler the further west you go, but the further east you are, we are tracking a little bit of heightened chances for rainfall, 10 to 20% coverage. Those clouds really start to shift in just a bit more, and you see those winds starting to shift a little bit more northwest, and that's just a result of that moisture moving in. And as the day goes on, we'll definitely see some chances of isolated showers, some of those producing some brief heavy downpours. So we are watching that state line as the main driver in our forecast moving forward. 5 p.m., still seeing a few of those pop up. But again, once it crosses that state line, we're just not seeing those chances last too long. So moisture, that's what we're watching for northwest Alabama. The rest of us going to be just a dry, calm, and cooler day. Upper 80s expected across the region with Boonville, Corinth, Iuka, and Red Bay coming in with 83 and 84 degrees. That is a perfect forecast. You guys better get outside and enjoy that forecast. 87 South Haven, Tunica, and then 90 down around Belzona and Greenwood. Still, I mean, it is the warmest temperatures we're seeing, but it's not a bad forecast this time of year. Low 90s for heat indices, with a few areas coming in with the mid to upper 80s, showcasing that drier air. We don't have that mugginess in the air, so that miserable Mississippi heat is mainly miserable because there's moisture paired with it. So whenever you take that out, it gets to be a bit more bearable, even though it's still 85 to 90 degrees. So Futurecast continues on, and here you see these winds shift. You can see just in the background there, those arrows that are moving east to west. And so that's a result of that wraparound of moisture producing a few of these showers. That's where I would have a few of those chances, 10 to 20% by about 8, 9 o'clock before those start to dissolve on out. But those winds moving back into the forecast and going to be causing a little bit more of those that moisture to move in, and that means heightened rain chances for our Monday, Tuesday, and unfortunately our Wednesday and Thursday. So there you see, blowing in that cloud cover, blowing in that moisture, and that's going to be a mostly cloudy start to our Monday. A few isolated showers, granted they are light, but still showers nonetheless, popping up for our Monday morning and towards your Monday afternoon, still dealing with those partly cloudy skies and brief isolated showers. Now, coverage is not going to be significant, similar to what we're seeing in our northwest Alabama counties tomorrow. That's what we'll be seeing over the entire extent of North Mississippi. So brief isolated showers could produce some brief downpours, but coverage not intense, about 10 to 20% yet again. Then we get into the evening and we get some of those showers being on the more significant side. That one around Macon could produce a few rumbles of thunder as well. So paying attention to that forecast for what to expect for Pickens and Noxubee County come Monday night and entering into our Tuesday morning. Early morning, we're talking 12, 1 a.m. So it's going to be a time where we are watching those chances really start to pick up. High temperatures are going to be mid to upper 80s yet again. The further east you are, the reason why those temperatures are showing up so low is because that cloud cover going to act as a blanket. But the thing with the blanket is it doesn't let the heat get into the area. So it's going to protect us from additional heat, but it's not going to let us warm up too much. So temperatures are going to start around the low 70s and climb into the low 80s. So not too much of a difference whenever you have that blanket of cloud cover. And heat indices follow that same trend. I mean, upper 70s for feels like values. This is just absurd that we are experiencing this here this time of year, but we are taking every second of it. We talk about the further west you go, the drier the forecast is, and we're talking 94 Greenville, Greenwood. So that mugginess slowly but surely re-entering the forecast, but it's not going to be too unbearable, especially not compared to what we had last week. But let's go ahead and jump to the tropics because that's really where the action is right now. 30% chance of development over the next 2 days and over the next 7 days for this system that's moving into the Atlantic right now. Now this on model runs has the potential to produce a tropical storm, possibly even up to Cat 1 on the highest output models. That would make it another named storm, and we've not had too many named storms this year so far, but activity is definitely increasing because it's not just this one in the Carolinas, it's also this one that's moving in throughout basically the central Atlantic. You see on your screen 0% chance of development over the next 2 days and 20% over the next 7. That is not high. It's not a high confidence that this is going to develop anytime soon, but some of those long track models that are tracking two weeks out, they're showing the potential for this to produce into a possible named storm. Now, granted, you got to take it with a grain of salt. That is 2 weeks out. So we are watching this closely. Still has a ways to go before it can do that, but we are keeping an eye on this and on the path that it could take. As you can see, it's moving more into that southern Atlantic area, which could possibly impact coastal regions around us. So paying attention to this closely. Don't worry about it right now because it is still a ways away from being anything, and those models do change every single model run. So we have to take it with a grain of salt. Especially looking at tropical satellite right now, you might notice on your screen there's nothing there. So that's why over the next 7 days, percentage of development is 20%. Again, not overly high because there's just not too much going on. We are paying attention closely, but just not expecting anything anytime soon. That one over there in the Atlantic definitely starting to increase just a bit as it moves into the Atlantic. So paying attention to that. But you saw the path. I mean, it's moving up the eastern coastline and then into the North Atlantic. So not going to impact us here in the United States. So we are staying clear of that. I'm going to see it on this side of your screen because this just happened around 9:15 Central Time this evening. So you can see a 3.0 magnitude earthquake there around New York City. We've not heard of any damage happening around the area, but what we have had is a few reports of just people shaking on the ground. And so it was enough to feel it, especially whenever you're in a highly populated area like New York City. I know that I have a few friends around Scranton. I just texted them to make sure that they were okay, but definitely keeping an eye on that because this has just happened. And so we'll get more reports as we head further into the night. But so far, so good, but still a 3.0 earthquake can definitely rock your world just a bit. Imagine just standing here and start shaking, definitely make you think twice about it. So So prayers for them. Hopefully not anything too impactful, but definitely a wild experience for sure. Looking at that Sunday forecast, 89 degrees for your high, 86 by Monday. Guys, we're staying upper 80s for your Tuesday and your Wednesday as well. And a few areas might not even get into the 90s until Friday or Saturday, just because, I mean, we're slowly but surely gradually getting warmer. So paying attention to that in more detail. Rain-cooled air helping with those temperatures. So those 87s, as we saw in some areas, we're talking about 82, 83. So getting a little bit lower with that rain-cooled air. Our highest chance for rainfall will come on your Wednesday. So paying attention to those rain chances closely, because as you saw, it's very dependent on that low pressure system in the Gulf. So if that were to shift a bit more east, our rain chances look completely different. So we're paying attention to that. Future frontal boundaries that are going to try and push through, that'll be a big driver in our forecast. So still a few questions remaining for that extended forecast and those extended rain chances. All the more reason to tune into Mississippi Live Weather at 6 and 10 tomorrow evening, and of course all throughout your work week ahead. So we hope that you have a fantastic evening, and of course keep it with Mississippi Live Weather for the very latest on your forecast. And speaking of, the way to stay updated on that forecast is with the Mississippi Live Weather app. Make sure to scan the QR code on your screen today to download the free app and get it on your mobile device. Roku, I saw a few people that were getting it on their devices earlier this evening. Shout out you guys. We appreciate your support. We hope that you can help others download it as well. But the way to do it on Roku, you search Mississippi Live. Don't search weather. I don't know why Roku does not like weather, but we do here. And we want our Mississippi Live Weather app on there. So search Mississippi Live and it will be able to be downloaded on your Roku device. For every other streaming platform, I know there's folks that are waiting patiently on those streaming services to get the app. We are waiting as well, and hopefully we'll get that resolved here soon, and we'll let you guys know as soon as that gets done, so that way you can download it on your device today. But either way, have it on mobile and you'll be able to get the coverage you need. Speaking of, Mississippi Live Weather is officially 1 month old today, and we are so grateful for your guys' support. We hope that this continues to be a service for years and years to come to you guys, because this is all about the community and all about North Mississippi, keeping you guys informed and keeping you guys safe. If there's anything that that you guys feel needs to be added, tell us, and we will be sure to make that happen, because as I mentioned, this is all for you guys. And so just let us know, send an email to info@msliveweather.com. And we cannot thank you guys enough for the unconditional support that you guys have shown us. And whether it's here in Tupelo or all across North Mississippi, it's been a warm welcome, and we cannot be more grateful. So we hope that you guys have a great night. Thank you again for 1 month. Here's to the many, many years to come. But let's just enjoy our Sunday as well, and we'll see you back here tomorrow evening at 6 and 10.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'll be 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.